of months gathering in my house, looking at family albums, looking at pictures, passing it to each other. It was almost like a family ritual. Snacks would be on the table, you could hear the laughter in the room, the warmth of a cozy evening surrounded by our memories. And that inspired me to later on archive my own life. I honestly feel like we have lost the art of archiving our lives. And by archiving, I mean keeping a log, physically, specifically. There is just such a magical feeling of passing each other pictures that you've printed and reflecting on memory that a forwarded message with an attached image cannot replicate. So this is why today we're going to be talking about why and how I physically archive my life. To start off, just to say that I do this by physically writing on journals, as you can see, and also by photography. So I love printing my pictures, and specifically pictures that I take with film. I wanted to also say that rather than doing this for nostalgia purposes of how the pictures look and how it feels to write, this to me is more about creating tangible pieces of my life. So just in case someone's wondering, this is a Hobonichi notebook I would highly recommend. The first reason why I have made the conscious decision of archiving my life physically is having an intentional act of preservation. Physically archiving allows me to preserve moments, thoughts, memories, essentially my whole life in a way that feels permanent and tactile. I could talk about this for ages, but is this kind of deliberate versus accidental memory keeping? And I feel like physical memory keeping is a deliberate action because I physically choose what matters to keep in my life. When I shoot a picture in film, it's not the same as shooting it with your phone. And when I write about things, it takes time and it's a slow process. For example, when you take pictures with your phone, this digital process is something that you don't really think about, and it's something that, yeah, your pictures just pile up on your phone, you forget about them. I honestly feel like my pictures on my phone have no meaning at all. And same thing was with writing. When I write on my notes app, I quickly forget about that list that I made. But when I write physically, those things are, yeah, I actually regularly visit my notebooks. So I feel like memories have no value on my phone, and they feel more like fleeting moments rather than, yeah, a conscious action of archiving. Like on my phone, I take like 50 pictures and they're all the same. And also you have to think about the storage. So it just feels like an unnatural process. So I now actually take pictures more consciously because you take a step back and you take longer to click on taking a picture, or you take longer when you're writing something physically. I feel like this helps process things more deeply, and it also strengthens connection to memory. So I think in a way, when you do this, you're kind of curating your own narrative because of how slow the process is. There's just something so human about holding your memories so real and so tangible. There is like an unnamed reassurance that it was all real, and I could never get rid of a physical photo. But a picture taken on my phone, I never hesitate to press delete. The second reason why I physically archive is, well, this sentence inspired by Descartes, which is, I write, therefore I am. So yeah, like Descartes says, I think, therefore I am. I feel like writing is thinking externalized. By essentially writing your own life, you're affirming your own existence and agency in shaping your own narrative. Journaling, I not only record my life and events and memories, it's how I make sense of who I am. I also have this kind of crazy fear of just forgetting little moments of my life. I'm just scared of getting older and forgetting, yeah, just ordinary moments. Like, because words outlive memory, it's very important for me to archive the little everyday moments in order to have a permanent trace of my life. It's kind of, in a way, immortality through language. I feel like when I write on my journals, which I have a lot of them. I already made a video of my journaling ecosystem, but these are the journals that I use for my everyday writing. These are just some of my favorites. I mostly use Moleskine, but When I start writing and I enter this flow, just this I'm not thinking of anything else apart from what I'm writing in this notebook, I feel like my life is infinite. Like your life actually matters and you should honestly write about it. There's something just so special about being able to flip through a page, and I could tell you exactly what I was doing 3 years ago on a random Wednesday in March. Like, not everyone can say that. Not everyone has the memory to be able to recall those moments. I think it's very important. Next reason why I physically archive my life is because I think my mundane life deserves it. You should look at it as your personal history, your personal existence actually matters, even though you might think, yeah, you're comparing yourself to people online, which I do that myself as well. And then you feel like your life is just not as exciting, so why should you even keep a record of it? But actually, I think it's the everyday, ordinary moments that actually matter and that you should be recording. And this has also helped me to find beauty in ordinary life, in the little things, in the everyday things, and not just record and take pictures of trips, because these things happen a couple times a year. And when I'm older, I want to be able to look back and reflect on what my life was. And my life is not just a couple of trips here and there. It is, yeah, your everyday life. I would highly recommend you pick up your favorite notebook, your journal, and to go to a coffee shop and to go by yourself and just write about how life is unfolding in front of you. There's so many little things that happen in our everyday life that go unnoticed, and I think when you make the conscious effort of sitting down and writing about what you're seeing, and I say a coffee shop because, yeah, I feel like that's where I get most inspiration when I'm writing. And this also applies to photography. I think if you put time aside to specifically keep your phone at home, take your secondhand camera or whatever, and consciously take pictures, it's just life-changing. And when you keep doing this throughout the years, you feel like you unravel patterns of emotions and meaning that in your everyday life it would usually go unnoticed. And talking about what I said before, that you might feel like your life is boring and you don't know what to write about, I think what you think is boring now, it's going to feel very precious later on. Years from now, you're gonna want to know what was your favorite song, what was your favorite monk, what you like to do, what your hobbies were. So definitely keep track of that. The final reason why I like to physically archive my life, and then we're gonna move on to how I do it, is the tactile connection of memory. I honestly feel like holding physically a journal, a notebook, whatever, or a photo that you printed creates a deeper emotional bond to those memories. Unlike digital files, physical archives involve touch, they involve texture of the paper, the weight of a photo, which makes me feel so alive and present. I also think because it's a process where you have to like sit down, pick up your notebook, and you're touching it, or if you're going through the pictures that you printed, or actually pressing the shoot on your camera, I think it involves a kind of ritual that helps you be present. I think that the act of writing or printing a photo, or photo printing, a ritual that you can add in your everyday life, that's going to make you feel very grounded, and it's going to slow you down. This process transforms memory keeping into a mindful practice rather than a quick upload. I also think that there's something just so beautiful about the uniqueness and imperfections that archiving physically entails. So, for example, when you print pictures, they might not be perfect, or especially if it's a film camera, you don't know really how it's gonna come out because it depends on a lot of things. So sometimes when you get them back, the picture might look a bit different, or the light might be smudged, could be smudged ink on your notebook. The notebooks also wear out, which I love. I've got this Muji one, which is a mess, but I honestly love it. I love how messy it is. It's got so many random things and tickets There's something just beautiful about imperfection. It adds character and authenticity to the medium that you're choosing to archive your life with. For all the reasons why I archive my life. Now we're gonna move on to how I actually do it, and I'm gonna give you a little tour of some cameras and also my journals. So I've been journaling for around 10 years, I would say. I think it's one of the most grounding practices that I have added to my everyday life. I have used a lot of different journals throughout the years. I'm a huge fan of Moleskine journals. I find that the paper is really good quality, although when you're writing with maybe ink, an ink pen, it's not really the best. But the covers are really good. I also like that they do the extended version, which is very helpful because I kind of like to build almost like a relationship with the journal. I take it everywhere, and I love when you can actually keep the same journal for a longer time. So it was very important for me for my next journal to be thicker. So I have had, this one is actually like a art book. The paper is good, so you can write with ink, but I wouldn't recommend a hardcover because then I wouldn't take it everywhere with me. I use the Muji notebooks. This is just a pocket note. These are really good. These are really nice. Just the only thing is that the cover is also paper, so if you're worried that it's going to break, this is probably going to, in not a long time. This was from 2022. One of my messiest ones. I took this traveling through Asia. So I have lots of, this is so funny. Playing a game there. This is what I mean when I say you should just write whatever, a mind map, a list. There were days where I just didn't want to write anything because I was going through something, and I would just like write the date. Like, it's not that serious. It's one of those hobbies that it is completely for you and you alone, and you shouldn't be thinking about who's going to see this. This is a Moleskine thin one. This is what I mean. This is too thin. This would honestly last me a couple of months, which is not ideal. If I didn't want to write anything, I'd just paint something random. It's completely for yourself. Got some Polaroid pictures. I used to keep track of the plants that I have and how to take care of them, which I think is super cool. Your older self would want to know. I then switched to this brand Moderno, which is just a bit wider than the Moleskine journals, and the quality is also really good. The wideness of it made it a bit too big for me to carry around everywhere, but I would highly recommend these journals as well. More recently, I purchased a Midori notebook because I want to stop using my notes app. And it's just a little notebook that I want to carry with me everywhere. And I was impressed. I was very, very, very impressed. So I'm thinking maybe after I finish this Moleskine journal, which is my current journal, I might purchase a Midori notebook, bigger size, and make it my main journal, but I'll let you know if I do. I really want you to take away from this part of the video, of the journaling part, is that you should write as if no one will ever read what you're writing. This is very, very, very important. You have to be brutally honest, unfiltered, and real. Not worried that someone might read it, that their opinion of you might change or something. You should be able to write your most inner thoughts. That consider this as, this is made for you. This isn't a hobby that you have to post about. You don't have to post the pictures of what you're writing. That is not journaling. I would call that like performative journaling, really. So yeah, just be yourself. And I appreciate that this might be hard in terms of carrying out, depending on where you live, who you live with. I completely understand that. And yeah, I think you just have to, I guess, if you're lucky enough to live with people that would not go through your journals, to be as unfiltered as you can. Journaling helps me, I guess, process my inner world, It is through photography that you process the external world, I would say. The current cameras that I have, I'm not going to give you too much detail on their specs and stuff. I think I can do a separate video on that. Well, I've collected these throughout the years, and with this video I don't mean to say that you need to now buy a camera and just spend that money. I think you can still consciously take pictures with your phone. You just have to make that conscious effort, and then I think the most important thing is to print them and keep a log of it. The cameras that I have are film. There's only 2 of them. So there's this one, which is the Agfa Photo. I think if you're trying to figure out if this is for you, as in taking pictures with film is for you, then this is a good way to start, just to see how the process is. Then this is the latest one. This is the Fujifilm X-E5. This is digital, but it has the film filters at the top. This is such a good camera. Then there's this digital one. This is the Canon Exus 70. It's so compact and small, so this is perfect for traveling. And then this is the main film camera that I have. This is the Olympus OM1. Like I said, I'm not going to give you too many details because I'll make another video, but this is beautiful. Say that making an effort of taking pictures through a film camera kind of slows down that gratification, because you have to wait quite a long time for the pictures to be developed. So it's not a quick dopamine hit of you take a picture and then you see it. And waiting makes the process more exciting, more intentional. You definitely don't need to have a film camera in order to print your pictures. So you can still print them if they're in your phone. I just think that keeping a physical log of your pictures is super, super, super important. I actually keep my pictures in this binder. This is from Muji. This is another thing that I love about film, is that you get these, like I said, it's just something so special about feeling the pictures, about holding them. And it kind of tells a story just as you, I don't know, I just feel like the phone cannot replicate the scrolling on your phone, on the pictures, on the Photos app, just cannot replicate this feeling at all. Honestly say that what I have in this tray are literally my life's treasures. And remember that your life does not need to be out of the ordinary to deserve it being archived. So take this video as your sign to start journaling, to print your pictures, to grab your secondhand camera and to shoot with intention and not repetition. One thoughtful photo will always mean more than 50 forgotten ones.